top end of the St James walkway.
It's going to be a big weekend, heading to Cannibal Gorge Hut tonight and then over Fryberg Range into Pell Stream, so let's see how it goes.
Let's go.
We've made it to Cannibal Gorge, probably about halfway through to Cannibal Gorge Hut so far.
Track conditions so far, very straightforward, very well formed track, suitable for most trampers with just a little bit of experience.
It's a couple of hours till sundown, hopefully we get to the hut on time.
Cannibal Gorge Hut, we finally got here. It's taken us about 2.5 hours, 3 hours to get here. Track's very straightforward, nice and easy. Let's go check it out. So we're underway for day 2, starting off with a little bit of track walking, and then we've got the entire day untracked. Could be an interesting old day, we'll see how it goes. Right, we're about 10 minutes past Cannibal Gorge Hut, and this is where we make our detour off the St James track. Further that way is the St James. Up until this point, very family friendly trip and tramping conditions. But from here, you'll see this dry creek bed. This is where we're detouring untracked up over the saddle there. So we'll see how it goes, but it's a long day ahead.
So we're currently sitting at about 1100 metres. We've been following the creek up, it's been pretty easy going so far, and the dry creek has turned into a running water creek, which is pretty handy because it's the first bit of water we've come across. So it's been a little bit over half an hour to get here, it's been very easy going, so hopefully that continues, but we'll see. Just popped out of the bush line, coming up the dry creek. It was relatively smooth going actually in the end, which was really good. As you can see, we've been greeted with a stunning day, very little wind,
and we're getting close to the top. I'd say we're about 3/4 of the way up. It's taken us about 1 hour to get to this point, so really enjoyable travel so far.
Made it up to the tarn at point 1345. Pretty steep climb, I have to say. Once you got out of the trees it got much steeper than it was within the trees, but we found as long as you stuck to the grass you got up okay. Stones are a bit slippery. Grabbed a wee bite to eat and then we are off down into Pell Stream. See you there.
Coming down from the tarn, back up that way. Pretty straightforward stuff at the moment. Really nice weather. We've just come down to point 1300. If you check your topo map, that's exactly where we are. And if you're doing this trip, that's where you want to be when you're descending down this valley. Taken us about 3 hours to get to this point, and now that we're here, this is our first proper view of the full Pell Stream Valley, and it's spectacular. Right, we're just entering the bush line, just coming straight down from point 1300, following a few deer tracks, but largely untracked terrain here.
Made our way down the hill off point 1300. Just reached the confluence of the river we followed down with Pell Stream, so probably about 5k to go. Imagine we'll continue with our bashing through the bush on our way down there, so let's go.
So after nearly 8 hours of boulder bashing, river bashing, bush bashing, some quite challenging terrain, we've made it to Pell Stream Hut. It's a welcome sight. Let's go check it out. Right, day 3. We've just come out of Pell Stream Hut. Not a bad wee hut, not the best night's sleep I've ever had. We're just going to start making our way back to Marble Hill car park, on down towards the river, about 5 to 6 kilometres to get out.
So we're at position 760. We've had to come up out of Pell Stream to get past the gorge. This bit of the track's particularly well marked. There's lots of white metal markers and pink ribbons to show you the way, although the track itself isn't very defined due to the lack of use. But all in all, an easy bit to find. So, we've made it to point 660 finally. It's been pretty hard yakka. We're about 5 hours from the hut. There's been some odd tracks that have come up out of the river. Some of them have been quite hard to follow, some of them have been a bit easier. But fantastic scenery. Really loved the rivers with the moss going in them, and the waterfalls really look great.
Right, coming to the end of day 3, hopefully. We've been travelling for over 5.5 hours now. We're just sidling down. As you can see, the track has become finally a little bit more straightforward. So we're going to carry on down here probably for about another half an hour, and then there's a 4-wheel drive track that'll take us out to the car park. Looking forward to putting my legs up. Right, we've just popped out of Pell Stream track. We've just come out onto the 4-wheel drive track, which is going to take us back to Marble Hill car park.
We started our hike by meeting at the Marble Hill car park. From there it was a 15-minute drive to the start of the St James track, and then a 3-hour walk to the Cannibal Gorge Hut, where we stayed on night 1. On day 2 we headed over the Fryberg Range, past the tarn at point 1345, before descending into the Pell Stream Valley. We followed the stream until the Pell Stream Hut. On day 3, we continued down to the Pell Stream Valley. The last 2 kilometres were on a 4-wheel drive track, where we crossed the Alfred River to finish at the Marble Hill car park. The Pell Stream Hut loop is highly recommended. It has good accessibility with car parks at either end of State Highway 7, but there is a 15-minute drive between each of them. Day 1's straightforward, but days 2 and 3 involve significant wayfinding over untracked terrain. There was minimal wildlife encountered, the highlight of which was encountering a large war party of fantails. There's fantastic scenery including forests, river gorges, alpine passes, a couple of swing bridges, and a significant amount of moss-covered logs. Cannibal Gorge Hut was large with lots of camping space. Pell Stream Hut was in surprisingly good shape, given that it is only visited by approximately 10 parties a year. If you're confident with navigation, have a good couple of days weather-wise, this is an adventure to remember.